Shah Rukh Khan, this is your second time coming to Berlin with a movie. This time the movie is called My Name is Khan, and it deals with the after effects of 9/11. Do you remember where you were 9/11 and when you heard about what happened?
I was in New York actually, with my director's mother, my wife, and my little son. And we were to do an interview for the launch of a film called Ahsoka. And the rest of the crew was supposed to fly off to Toronto 4 hours before us. So I was woken up and Karan's mother, Mrs. Yu, she showed me the television, and I thought it's the plane that our crew is taking. That's why she's showing that there's been an accident. And I was really shaken up. She said, no, it's not that plane. Is it that plane? Find out. My unit was flying to Toronto, and I was looking 4 hours later. There was press on the floor below my room, waiting to do the interviews. And I'm like, what happened? And then you realized how it was. And I was stuck there for 3-4 days with my family. Then we kind of made our way out, went to Toronto, flew back, because all the flights, everything was cancelled.
Everything was grounded.
So we asked special permission and requested some people, and they kind of understood very kindly. They let the family go because I guess the kids and mother and everyone. So we got out of it, and I think I was deeply affected by it, like everyone else was.
I mean, how did you react when it became clear that the attacks were carried out by Muslim extremists? You yourself are a Muslim. How did that affect you?
See, actually, I've never really thought of an extremist adding any other tag to it. A Jewish extremist, or an English extremist, or an American extremist, or a Hindu extremist, or a Muslim extremist. Extremist is an extremist. As soon as we start putting a tag to it, is when we are actually inviting trouble. We're inviting trouble in the hearts and the minds of the world. Because for the common man, which I think I am also, apart from being a movie star, when I'm sitting and suddenly if I hear a news piece or someone suddenly start giving an attachment to a bad act or even a good act, why don't we say, for me, one of my favorite players is Boris Becker. Why don't we say the German tennis player? So as soon as they say German tennis player, I start assuming that Germany has great tennis players, which is a good thing. If you say, oh, very proud, and I'm sure a lot of kids get taken in by that. So Germany has two things happened to me when I had German soccer team and German tennis player. I'm like, oh wow, Germans are very good at sports, is what comes to my mind.
That's a good association.
Yeah, it's a good association. But when you start putting bad associations to something, then you say the German killer or the Indian rapist, it starts. It labels a country, a nation, a group, which is wrong. So when I saw it, just like anybody else, I thought it was an act of terror. Not a good thing, because people die because of it. So many lives will be thwarted. And I could have been one of them. My son could have been one of them. My wife was a Hindu. My son has been brought up Hindu and Muslim or whatever. I'm a Muslim. Anybody, bystanders get hurt in acts of terrorism like this. So you see the word that comes to my mind when I think of attacks like this or any aggression of this order anywhere in the world by any kind of extremism. Futility. The word that comes to my mind is futility. It is so futile.
So how do you feel about, did the world, what was good in the way the world reacted and what was not good? I mean, because obviously there were retaliation acts.
Obviously, see, I won't get into the politics of it because, yeah, of course, normally human nature is, you hit me, I'll hit back. And in the middle, a lot of people retaliate. But when you're so aggressive and when you, rightly or wrongly, it's a human reaction. God, you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. And in that process, a lot of innocent people die. So I think death of innocence, which we have in the movie also, death of innocence, I think, is not allowed in humanity. Death by natural causes is the way of God, but death of innocence for no reason before time is not allowed in humanity. So obviously you feel very bad when the aftermath has that, whether it's this side or that side. Both are to be condemned. As far as the good thing was concerned out of this is the good part is that everybody said, whenever you have a danger on you, whenever there is anything scary, people get together. If suppose we are sitting here, we don't know each other, and suddenly we think, there's a storm coming, we all become a team. So I think sometimes, yeah, we all become a team, like, we all together.
So you start caring for each other.
You start caring for each other.
Which is actually something that I heard is happening to large parts of India now. Your movie there coming out, there were some problems there. We don't have to go into the details of it, but
No,
obviously
see,
some people had something against something you
100%
said.
it's just a misunderstanding. And I'm very clear that I can clarify that misunderstanding. My only thing was that why is the misunderstanding with me being shifted onto the movie? That's a separate entity with 500 people's lives attached to it. I should be here. I think we've done an Indian film, we're bringing it to berlinale.
You should enjoy yourself.
Enjoy it. And it hurts me that I actually work for the masses. I work for communicating to the masses. So my whole intention is people should hear me and then like or dislike it through my film. I don't like this film, I like this film. So it just has made me very sad about that. But I guess what I said before, I would like it to be resolved with peace and understanding. There's no aggressive stand. I'm very glad that people have understood it, people will understand it. But I will never let ego or false sense of self-respect come in the way of normal discussion. You don't like this? I said this. Oh, really? Oh, good. Oh, there's no issue. Futile. It's futile.
Because the film, My Name is Khan, I mean, it tackles all these issues. It also goes on about we mustn't label people regardless what their creed is or nationality is. And it's a film that sort of, says, let's have peace, let's be tolerant with each other, and let's understand and forgive each other also whenever necessary. You play a very interesting character there. You play a Muslim who lives in the United States up to 9/11, and he also has an affliction. He suffers from Asperger's syndrome, which means basically he talks straightforward. He talks in a very honest way. And there's a very interesting scene which takes place in a moschee. You say that in English too? Yeah, or yeah, of course you would.
Mosque.
In a mosque, that's the word, a mosque. See, it's been too long here in Germany now. And you pray there, and you overhear extremists talk, and you speak up, the character does. Now that I found was a very, very strong and a very daring scene. Because, I don't know, how do you think the Muslim world will react to it? It sort of also says, we have to speak up.
One, the Muslim world does not think that they are a part of terrorism. They truly, truly believe that the people who are part of terrorism from their country are doing it for ideologies which are very different from the ideologies of Islam. I'm Muslim. We are, the meaning of Islam is tolerance, that you take a lot and you don't attack. So none of the people I know who are going to watch this film, from whichever religion, they're going to take it like, oh, we should speak up. No, there's no need to speak up. You cannot speak up unless you're afflicted with some kind of a syndrome. It's a scary world. I don't think it's the onus of anyone in this world to get up and stand for a right against an authority, right or wrong. Authority which is much stronger, which is much more aggressive than you can ever be. You look after your children. You look after your family. And the message of the film is not that this you stand up. That scene has been put in the film to tell you that this person or our film is not taking a side. It's not taking anybody's side. It's saying this is also not right. Don't misinterpret the teachings of the Quran. People, I think the one main message of the film is, if you and I have a problem on ideological or religious basis, before you pick on me or I pick on you, let me explain my religion to you. And you might, I think, 99% of the time say, oh, that's what that means. Oh, okay, I have no issue. Or, I understand yours.
So
it's our duty
communicate.
Yes, it is the duty of every person, if your religion or region is being questioned, explain it. Don't be defensive and say, no, we are good. No, please explain it. So I think it's the duty of me as a Muslim, though I'm not in the film for that. But as a person, yes, if you ask me something about Islam, as much as I know, I'd like to tell you how tolerant and beautiful that religion is. That is why the scene is there. And I don't think it's a brave scene. It's actually the way, and also, the fact the person is Asperger's, what we're trying to say is, normal people like you and I, we won't have the guts to do it. So don't try it. Don't try this at home.
All that what you've just mentioned is, to a certain extent, part of this movie. Now, this is still an Indian movie, it's a Bollywood movie, and a lot of people here in the West will be surprised to see that kind of film. So the last question, it's part of the competition section here at the Bollywood Film Festival. It's not running in competition, so you won't win a prize here.
Okay, I got nervous.
But some people will be surprised. What sort of reaction have you received already, or what do you expect?
See, one is that again, what we start doing is we start grouping things very quickly. It's a Bollywood film, so it will be a type. The fortunate part in Germany is that most of the people have seen Bollywood. The unfortunate part is that there are another 895 films made, which are quite different from the commercial hits. See, when I'm in India, I get to see a Hollywood film. We see it of the similar genre, the big hits, the blockbusters. The small, maybe interesting, different, serious films we never get to see, unless you're a film person. I'm a film person, so it's my job to see. But local people, normal people don't get to see. So there's a lot of stories that are said from Hollywood. Some of them, this just happens to be that Karan Johar, the biggest commercial director, the two big commercial actors, they come together and you make a movie and you say, oh, it'll be like that, but it's not. We just feel at this point in our lives, we started making our first film, we made it in a college, about college friendship. We were not in college.